Welcome back, everyone. This is Michigan Forward at the Mackinac Republican Leadership Conference. The Mackinac Republican Leadership Conference is run by the Michigan Republican Party, and we are so excited to have with us the chairman of the Michigan Republican Party, Jim Runestad. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we're sitting here at the Grand Hotel at the Leadership Conference. Well, how do you think the weekend's going so far?
It so far couldn't go any better. It has been fabulous. Fortunately, yesterday we had very good weather, and we had a tremendous outpouring of just more registrations. We're way over 1,000. I don't know what the final number is going to be, but that's been just an incredible outpouring of support from the average person who is coming to hear all of these great speakers, the panelists. And I've looked at some of the past panelists, especially on what's called an off year or off cycle election. So this isn't presidential, where you get a lot of the presidential candidates come in, and that drives a lot more numbers. So on a non-presidential cycle, this is going to be one of the best conferences, I think, ever.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of buzz on the island. I think everyone's enjoying themselves. I have been coming to these conferences for over a decade, and there's so much that I love about them. What is your memories of these conferences, the history? What do you love most about the Leadership Conference?
I would always go through the agenda, and I encourage people to do it and say, make sure that you get to the speakers or the panelists you really want to see. And I've heard some great panels over the year. I would say, though, without a doubt, the most memorable one was when Newt Gingrich was here, and he was speaking extemporaneous, no notes, for, I don't know, it seemed like, I think he might have been like an hour and a half. And you could hear a pin drop. And it was amazing. I even remember one of the things that he said was, when you have an issue and it's 70% or more support, don't listen to naysayers. Go like a machine. Go after that issue. And I've never forgot that. And he's absolutely right, because there's always naysayer. No, what if no, if you got that kind of support, you need to just go straight ahead. And I remember that, and that was, my gosh, probably 20 something years ago.
Yeah.
So you can really hear some fabulous speakers. There's also an opportunity to socialize from a lot of people from all over the nation. I've talked to people that are all over the country that are here, because this is the only event like this in the nation. There's not another Mackinac-style conference anywhere in the nation. So yeah, people come here from all over. You get different perspectives. So it not only is a great place to get ideas from the panelists, from the speakers, but just talking to people, you get a sense of what's happening around the country, what's happening in Michigan. So it's a great opportunity for people here to really get informed.
Yeah, absolutely. And Michigan Republicans, we're so proud of this conference, and we have a lot to be proud of. In 2024, we flipped the state house and we won the state for President Trump. And there's been a lot of conversation on the island from Republicans talking about those successes. What do you think that we need to do going into 26 to replicate those kind of successes?
Yeah, it's going to be very important, because I've been at 3 RNC Republican National Committee meetings so far. And at every one of them, with all of the chairmen and the national committeemen, committee women, they have said, they put up a slide, the most important state for the governor's race, there's 3, but the most important one is Michigan. The U.S. Senate race, there's 3 that are in play. Now, there's different Senate races, but they already know the outcomes. And, not every governor's up, but they know the outcomes. So these 3 governor races, Michigan being the most important, the U.S. Senate race, there's 3 that are in play, most important in Michigan. And they said on the congressional level, there's 11 that are in play, but only one state has 3 of them, Michigan. So they're telling everybody, Michigan, Michigan, Michigan. So this is the epicenter of everything that's going to be happening nationally in Michigan. Is going to be required a victory here to make sure we don't have a president who's impeached every day if the Democrats pick up a chamber. And what needs to be done, the biggest thing is the turnout. There can't be complacency that people say, well, we have the House, the Senate, we have the president. Well, this is subject to be flipped in 26. We've got to make sure people are really enthusiastic, really understand the dynamic. But the death of Charlie Kirk has created such a different dynamic from before and after. I was seeing this complacency before he was shot. There is no complacency now. And I think when we go out as leaders and talk to the base of the party and say, look at the kind of people that we are against, the vile stuff that they do. I have been called by the other side, all of us on the Republican side, over and over, more times than I could count. Nazi, racist, Klansman, Hitler, and on and on. Dehumanizing language to say, if you shoot these people, if you kill them, it's actually benefiting everyone because it's an existential threat to your freedom. I don't use that language. I've not heard one Republican who does. They use this stuff routinely. And I think that the people in the United States are going to say, this is unacceptable. You can have discourse, you can have a disagreement, but you don't need to use ad hominem attack to dehumanize the other side. And the base, look at what happened with Charlie Kirk, who was respectful. He would invite anyone who disagrees to come to the front. He would give them time to explain. He was respectful in his response. And I believe 100% that was why he was shot. Mm-hmm. If he was caustic, nasty, ugly, they would say, oh, get him on, get him up as much as they can. But since he was effective and he was so open, that's where the other side just couldn't live with that kind of a person with that success rate, in particular in turning the youth. So we're going to see, I think, a lot of outpouring of support from the base this cycle.
Yeah, and I think I sense that as well. The base has been fired up because of that assassination. A lot of them are focused on the November 2026 election, which, as you listed all of those races, very important. But we actually have another election that's happening earlier in 2026. The governor just called a special election to fill a vacant Senate seat, which she took over 250 days to call that special election. Maybe tell us a little bit about why the governor took so long and left so many people without a voice in the Senate.
Yeah, and not only when she does call it, she's calling it so far down the line that it was designed to try to limit the number of people who would be participating in that election. And I haven't seen this kind of thing in my entire time of watching politics here in Michigan, where a governor, strictly because she wants to hold a majority, will disenfranchise 280,000 people. And it's despicable. And comically, what the Democrats are always talking about is our democracy, disenfranchising, all this BS, when they're the ones who are doing this. That, from the Russian collusion hoax to holding off this election, it is their side that is being creating these things that really are impacting elections in a negative way. So yeah, I think it was despicable. It was 100% just a power play, disenfranchising these people so that her side can continue to have a majority in the Senate.
Yeah. I think that the voters are ready to hold the Democrats accountable for those kind of antics, and not just in that special election, but going forward into November, flipping the Senate firmly, holding on to that House majority that we won, only legislature body in the nation to actually flip last cycle, and winning the governor's mansion back. So as we kind of wrap up our discussion here, I wanted to set the stage and see what your thoughts were on this. We're now post-November. Republicans have flipped the Senate, held the House, flipped the governor's mansion. We're in complete control. What is the vision that Republicans have for the people of Michigan now that we've gotten control of our state government?
What they're proposing for the budget in the House, I think, is so phenomenal. I haven't seen, since I've been watching politics here in Michigan, where a chamber looks at the entire budget, has all these budget hearings about where is there waste, fraud, and abuse. And actually, and I've noticed there's mountains of this I would go through the budget and the stuff we have spent money on. I mean, we had $9 billion in one-time funding, federal funding, $200 million on the roads. I mean, they just poured it down a rat hole. So you look at the overall budget, and they were able to glean out $5 billion in savings, and it's real good savings. And I think you're going to see more of that. Looking at the budget effectively, our property tax, our income tax, both are too high. Property tax is running people right out of their homes. So there's so many things we can do to return the money to the citizenry if we aren't just wasting money and pouring it down a rat hole. So I think they're going to be very, very focused on where can we get true efficiencies, not negatively impacting services, but getting rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse, and returning that money to lower those taxes for the citizens.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're all excited to see those successes from Republicans for the people of Michigan. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us again today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
And just as a reminder to stay tuned to all of our social media pages for coverage and other exclusive interviews from Michigan Forward here at the Mackinac Republican Leadership Conference.